Hello and welcome to Full of Food. If you're trying to decide between the Ninja Double Stack and the Ninja Dual Zone air fryers, then you've come to the right place. Watch on to find out the things that are the same about the two machines and the 10 differences that I've found. And if you watch to the end, you'll see the results of the all-important sausage cooking test. I'll put each section into chapters below, so feel free to skip to the section you need. So let's jump straight in with what's the same about both machines. So the first similarity is the power. If we look in the little instruction manuals that come with both machines, we've got it listed as 2,470 watts. If you go onto the Ninja website, the Dual Zone actually says 2,400, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but it's roughly around that value. So another similarity, a really obvious one, they're both black and they both have silver handles. The next thing to note is capacity. So they are both the same capacity, they both come in at a 7.6 litre capacity. It is slightly different in terms of both machines when we actually go a little bit more in depth and look at the drawers, but they are both classed as 7.6 litre machines. Next up are the functions. Now it's worth saying here that both machines have the same functions. Ninja has actually put something a little bit extra on this double stack, which I'll talk to you about towards the end when I can tell you about what it comes with. But for the main functions of both of these machines, we've got air fry, we've got max crisp, we've got roast, reheat, dehydrate and bake. And then both machines also come with the sync and match functions, which allow you to sync both drawers together or match both drawers. So if you've got something cooking at the same time for the same amount of time, you'd match them. If you've got something that takes a little bit longer than the other, you'd sync them so they finish at the same time. Okay, the final thing that's the same about these two machines is they're both dishwasher safe. So you can just take out the drawer, whip out the crisper plate and put both into the dishwasher. Obviously the machine is not able to go in the dishwasher, and I have got another video that shows you how I deep clean my drawers as well. So these are both dishwasher safe, which is perfect for busy lives. Okay, so let's get on to the all-important differences between these two machines. So as I said at the beginning of the video, I've got 10 things. So if we start off with number one, we've got the really important cost. So the double stack is only available at the moment on the Ninja website, and its RRP is $229.99. Now this only came out at the end of last week. I expect that might change a little bit, and I expect it will probably come on to Amazon at some point. I'll put all the links below in the description so you'll be able to see the best place to get it, and we'll update those regularly as well. If we move over to the Dual Zone air fryer, the RRP on the Ninja website for this one is $219.99, and it's on a fantastic sale at the moment for $149.99. So that's where I actually got mine when I ordered it from the Ninja website. And again, as I said, there's some links below. If you wanted to pop over to Amazon and buy your Dual Zone, again, the RRP is the same, $219.99, and the sale is £149, so saving yourself 99p. Depends on where you want to shop, they're roughly the same price. So number two is drawer placement, quite an obvious one, this one. With the Ninja double stack, we've got drawers one on top of each other. With the Dual Zone, the drawers are side by side, and this slightly affects the drawer dimension, which we'll talk about later. Number three on my list is fan location. Now this is quite important because it's quite a big difference between the two machines, and actually the biggest difference in the way that they cook. If we look at the double stack first, if we pull out the drawer, we can see that the fan and the element are located at the back of the drawer, and the heat actually comes through this grill at the back, causes a convection current and cooks your food. If we move over to the Dual Zone, the Dual Zone's fan and element are at the top, and it cooks your food from the top down. So quite a significant difference between these two machines. And obviously I think this was because this design had to be stacked up. but we'll talk about that later on, and we'll do a all-important sausage cooking test where we'll look at the difference of how these two machines cook. I'm not saying one's better than the other necessarily. Having used this stack for quite a while now, I know that there's little intricacies with each air fryer and how you cook with them, shaking, turning things, etc. So we'll talk about that in a bit more detail later on. Okay, number 4 on my list is where they both vent, so what Ninja calls their air outlet. So if we start off with the double stack, the vents are on the side of the machine. That's something to bear in mind if you have a small amount of space available in your kitchen. You don't want to be putting that right up next to a unit because it will cause some condensation when that machine vents out. With the dual zone, we vent at the back of the machine, so again you'll have to make sure there's a gap at the back of your machine to enable that to vent out. Coming in at number 5 are the all-important dimensions, and we're talking about dimensions of the machines here, not the baskets. I'll go on to look at the baskets in a bit. So let's start off with the Ninja double stack, and if we measure its height, we've got a height of 38.5 centimeters. We've got a depth of 42 centimeters, and that's coming out with the handles. And then we've got a width on this machine of 28, and that's including the side panel on the side. Moving over to the dual zone, we've got a height of 31.5 centimeters. We've got a depth of 26.5 centimeters, and we've got a width of 38 centimeters. So the difference between these two machines in terms of the width is 10 centimeters. Obviously, in terms of the depth, the Ninja double stack is quite significantly deeper. Okay, number 6 on my list is weight. It's worth noting that there's a slight weight difference between these two machines. The Ninja stack comes in at 9.76 kilograms and the dual zone comes in at 8.2 kilograms. So slightly different, probably only something to consider if you're moving your machine around a lot, but in terms of the two machines, they're relatively a similar weight. Okay, so number 7 are the control panels. So if we look at the difference between the two, we've got with the double stack a control panel situated on the right hand side of the machine, and if we take a closer look, we can see at the top that you can choose your different drawers. So number 1 is the top drawer, number 2 is the bottom drawer. In order to choose your function, you have to scroll down using these arrow keys, so up and down to choose your function. You can then click on temperature and choose your temperature again with the arrow keys, time again with the arrow keys, and then we've got our sync and match buttons at the bottom. Now there is this extra button here called Double Stack Pro, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. That is one thing about this machine that is quite exciting because it means it comes with a little bit of extra kit. So that's the double stack. In terms of the dual zone, we've got a slightly different control panel. So with this machine, again, we've got the numbers 1 and 2 to choose which drawer, 1 being the left, 2 being the right. To choose your function, you simply click on the button with the writing above to choose your function, so there's no scrolling through there. For temperature, it's on the left here, up and down toggle, time on the right here, up and down toggle, and then you've got your sync and match buttons in the middle. Okay, so moving on to number 8 on my differences list, we've got the drawer dimensions and crisper plate sizes. So the best way to look at that is to bring out both of our drawers side by side. So as I said at the beginning, these machines are 7.6 litre machines. So that means that each of the drawers are 3.8 litre capacity, and that's talking about the volume of each of them. If we now look at the dimensions for the stack here, we've got a depth of 18 centimeters and a width of 18 centimeters, and the height is 12.5 centimeters. If we move on to the dual zone here, we've got a width of 15 centimeters, we've got a depth of 21, and again the same height, we've got a 12.5 height there in centimeters. Okay, so the best way to look at the surface area for cooking is to get the crisper plates out and put them side by side. So if we put them next to each other, you'll see they look quite different. And if we grab our tape measure and do some measuring, we'll see that the double stack has a depth of 17 centimeters and a width of 17 centimeters. And then we'll see that the dual zone has a width of 14 centimeters and a depth of 20.5. So if you actually work out the surface area, this one comes out at 287 centimeters squared, this one comes out at 289 centimeters squared. So actually there's only 2 centimeters squared difference in it. In terms of their cooking area, they are pretty much identical. Okay, so number 9 on my list is the basket design, and we touched upon this earlier. For the double stack, we've got obviously the square design with this grill at the back that enables the heat and the fan to come through and cook. With the dual zone, we've got more rectangular shape and we haven't got that at the back. Now this is really important if you're cooking things like lasagna, something that's a little bit wet, or bolognese. It also means there's a slight difference in cleaning. This one you can soak really well if you've got some really stubborn stains in there. This one you won't be able to so much. So it is worth just thinking about what you're going to cook in there in terms of how this machine might work for you. So the final thing, number 10 on the list before we get on to the all important sausage cooking test, is additional racks. Now this dual comes, as you see it, with the drawer and with the crisper plate, whereas the double stack comes with some extra plates in order for you to cook meals using the double stack pro button that I just talked about earlier. So let's have a little look at that. So here it is. This is what Ninja call the stacked meal rack, and the purpose of this is to create 2 layers of cooking. So really great if you want to make a whole meal in this machine. So the first thing you do on the bottom layer is you put things like your veggies and your starches, and then on the top you'll put your proteins. So this just nicely fits in. There's some little ledges on the side, so it creates that nice double layer cooking. The other thing to note is that the machine comes with this really handy leaflet, and it gives you ideas of what to cook. So it's got some ideas on the bottom for your carbohydrates and your vegetables, and on the top for your proteins, and it just talks you through the 3 simple steps to do that. And Ninja have made this really easy because they've obviously got a button called Double Stack Pro, so it is geared up to cooking in this way. So something, if you're thinking of making a whole meal in this machine, that you might like to take into consideration when choosing between the 2. Okay, so for the last part of my video, we're going to look at how both machines cook, and for that I do my all-important sausage test. So these are Lincolnshire sausages just bought from the supermarket, and what we're going to do is in each machine we're going to put 3 sausages in, and we're going to give them a cook for about 12 to 15 minutes, and we're going to have a look all the way through the cooking process and see how each machine is performing in terms of cooking. Okay, so let's get each machine set up to cook exactly the same temperature and time. So we're air frying 200 degrees and we're going to do 12 minutes, and same over here, we're going to do air fry 200 degrees and we're going to do 12 minutes. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so we're 4 minutes into the cooking now. Let's have a little look. Both sausages starting to cook. The dual zone on the left here a little bit more so than the stack. Okay, so we're 8 minutes in now, so let's have a little look. So double stack on the right, dual zone on the left. It's worth pointing out that I'm not shaking these sausages just to show you the difference in cooking, and I'll talk about the difference and my conclusions in a little bit. but we've definitely got a slight difference seeing that one on the double stack having a little less cooking at the back. But as I said, I'll talk about that in a minute. It's not a huge problem, I just need to make you aware of it. Okay, so final look, we finished cooking now. We actually cooked these for 11 minutes in the end. So if we have a little look at the stack first, you can see there is some uneven cooking. When we get the thermometer out, I would suggest you get one of these thermometers if you're getting an air fryer and actually have a look. The back one is cooked, it has gone over 75, it's just not as brown. So it has still cooked, it's just not as brown. If we get those ones out, we can pop them on the plate so you can see a little bit more. And like I said, it's worth noting, I didn't shake these, I just let them cook as was. And now the sausage is in the dual zone. So as you can see, more even cooking there, slightly different at the back, but if we put in our trusty thermometer, we'll see that they're nicely cooked through. And if we pop them side by side, you can just have a little look. So there you have it, the all-important sausage test, something I do with all the air fryers that I review, because it shows you nice cooking, shows you even cooking, shows you how the machine works. And you can see there is a tiny bit of a difference there, but nothing that I would say would put me off choosing one over the other at this point, having used this stack for quite a while now. Always though, check your temperature of your food with a thermometer. So thanks so much for watching. If you were thinking that these machines aren't big enough for you and you might like the Max Dual and the double stack XL, I have another video that reviews those two, so I'll put that up here. Please take a look at that. If you can like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.